Do you see a time where a company could deploy these and say, hey, listen, you're coming in as a doctor. You're coming in as a card dealer, blackjack dealer. We need you to have a score on your Oura ring of readiness of 70 or better, or 80 or better, or your average has to be 80 or better. Now, I know this seems Orwellian, but for a bus driver or a pilot, we already give them requirements of sleep. Sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. We give them requirements for how often they can fly. I would love to know that my pilot on the plane I'm putting my family on has an Orwellian approach to this, if I may, that they have to wear an Oura ring, and we need to know they're ready to fly. This must have come up inside your organization. What is the discussion like inside your organization and with other organizations about the line between personal privacy and, being ready to do good work? Like, I don't think office workers need to, obviously it would be great, but it would also feel Orwellian. But for a pilot or a brain surgeon or any kind of surgeon, this does not feel Orwellian. Yeah. For them to be wearing one. What are the conversations been like for you guys internally about doing something like this? Because obviously you've talked about it.
Oh, yeah. Look, we formed a whole ethics committee, a process, a framework. Frankly, we even joined the World Economic Forum has a panel that they put together on IoT and creating trustworthiness in IoT devices, because how you share this data. So a couple things we did. Everything has to be 100% opt-in. We never want to have anyone forced. Frankly, even in that pilot situation, I just think we're not there yet to take a stance on that. I think our big view is educate.
I can tell you the passengers are.
No, I know. But yeah. At the same time, I think rather than force people, I'd rather see them educate and understand. If that pilot understood, or frankly, your Uber driver, hey, 6 hours or 4 hours of sleep, right? Your
it's dangerous.
It's dangerous, right? Your chance of getting in an accident goes up.
Bus
20,
driver,
30, 40%.
train conductor,
truck driver, right?
Truck driver. Oh my Lord, no brainer.
Yeah,
and those are places where they're under. Let's be honest, they're under pressure to do more. These, from what I understand, the Amazon drivers. There was a lot of controversy. Who knows how much of this is true in the fake news? But there was some controversy that maybe the freelancers were going a little too hard, trying to deliver packages a little too aggressively to hit windows and cause accidents. And I don't know if it's true or not, but so opt-in is one.
Opt-in is one.
And then what are the others?
So de-identified, figure out frameworks to share this data on a population level and empower the end user. So for example, our health risk management, you as the admin, I can't see that Jason's getting sick today. What I can see is, hey, of my group of 10 that's coming in the office, someone looks like they're getting sick today. What do you see, Jason? We want to empower you. You get a message in the app. Hey,
got it.
Go see Nick before you come in today. Give Nick a call. You can actually customize that message.
So it would be the same thing with if I had an employee who was suffering from mental illness, they go see the HR department. I don't know what mental illness they have. I don't know why they went to see the HR department, but I do know they're taking a leave of absence for 2 weeks. It could be their mom died and they're grieving. It could be they're having panic attacks. It's not my job as the manager to know what the ailment is. Correct. It's just to know that they're getting help so they can get back in the game.
Correct. Yeah. So I think we were like de-identified, create frameworks and ways to empower the individual, notify them first. Our team, I honestly credit off to our team through thinking all this stuff, even putting an ethics framework together. I think anytime we looked at where you can potentially, if we even have put in our contracts, we're like, if this data is used and then someone is terminated because of the result of the data, right? Like, we have the right to cancel a contract because, we don't want people, if you think about it, that's how you create Big Brother. Now,
yes,
I'm not saying, eventually we're figuring this out as a company. We don't have all the answers, but we've talked to lots and lots of these different types of frameworks and different types of companies. And,
how are those companies, if you de-anonymized a company that was in, the business of, one person's responsible for a lot of people's safety, like if the ring let the person was on meth and on a bender every night or, out drinking every night and just disregarded sleep, you kind of actually would want to reprimand or fire that person. So it's nice that you want to take this stand, but
no, we've found more buy-in from companies because they don't want to get in trouble looking at this data either. right?
So there's a concern about that.
Exactly. So I think companies actually want de-identified and cool tools and frameworks like we've created to still empower the individual, right? They don't want to know what's happening to that person, nor should they, right? What they do want to know is, hey, empower that person to get help and get help faster, right? That's what they want to be able to do.
So you would be okay theoretically. I love that you're willing to talk about this because it's just such a great
I don't know
topic.
if I said I'm willing. You just started asking me.
All right. Well, anyway, we can make this hypothetical, right? So in the hypothetical example, just thinking out the morality question here, if a person was struggling with alcoholism, was not sleeping, and they were responsible for other people's health, and their Apple Watch, Fitbit, or other device, let's just say a device, not your device, would know that, you wouldn't want them to be fired. You would want them to get a notification. I like this framework. They got a notification. Hey, you don't have enough restfulness and sleep to do your job properly. Please report to the HR department tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the HR department would tell them, we just need to check in on somebody's suitability for being on the job. They're not going to make their shift today or tomorrow. And then there's an intervention where they just discuss it. Like, hey, listen, is the ring broken? Let's give you a new one. Or is the watch broken? We can give you a new one. Or is there anything we should know? Do you need a 2-week leave of absence to kind of tighten this up? There is a way to do it that's compassionate, that doesn't embarrass the person, that doesn't make them lose their job, but that does let them know your job is pretty serious. If you want to be at the yoke of that plane or that controller of that train, you cannot get this level of sleep. We need to get a sleep level that's commensurate with the risk of, doing the job poorly.
I think that's exactly how we've in our team has come up with ideas of thinking about it and frameworks. You want to empower the individual. What you want to do is teach that person that hey, getting 4 hours of sleep 5 nights in a row means you're at a really heightened risk for an accident. By the way, that's not just bad for the passengers. It's probably bad for you and your family.
Yeah, because you're at the front of the train.
Yeah. So
conductor and the pilot die first most of the time.
Most of the time, right? So
they generally go down with the ship. Let me ask you another tough question since we're at the end, and I always ask the hardest ones then when I got the guests warmed up, and you're so good. You're so honest. I got an honest guest here.